I'm not trying to build a business for ego. I want to provide for my family. I want to provide them a good life. I want us to like be set up for success. So I'm not saying like you're being selfish by focusing on your goals. Just don't miss the trees for the forest, and know that you have people in your life that are very, very special. And on your deathbed, I mean, I can just speak from my own little experience. When I was on my bed being told I had cancer, and first they thought I was lymphoma, I didn't know what was happening. All I knew was my body was shutting down and I was like getting worse. I wasn't thinking like, man, I really wish I would have got that third 2 Comma Club award. I was thinking like, am I gonna get to see my kids grow up? Was that the last, that last conversation I had with that individual? Was that it? Is that how we're gonna leave things? This is my comeback cardigan. I wear this anytime I do like a long fast or anything crazy. This is like my rally cardigan.
You know, it's got like a really cool like Mr. Rogers kind of vibe to it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we're recording right now, which for those of you guys who are watching us on YouTube, you already know who Joel is. He's been on the podcast before, and you know from the intro who Joel is. But obviously today we're having a very different conversation. So I want you to, obviously the audience already knows like what's going on from the intro, but I want to know, first of all, dad of 3 girls, right? Married, business owner, and, you know, testicular cancer kind of gets kicked around like, you know, like, oh, so-and-so's got cancer. It's like, I feel like every time I turn around, there's somebody who has some sort of cancer. But I think, when it hits home like this, you know, 3 little girls, married, business owner, like there's a lot of things that just from an emotional not just a physical standpoint, emotional, mental, everything is spiritual. I know you're a spiritual guy as well, but, let's start with, what were some of the symptoms that you started feeling and when?
Yeah, so funny enough, I was on a winner's circle trip. My winner's circle is like a tight-knit group of guys that have been through my program. We get together twice a year. We were in Sedona, Arizona, and we just had the best day ever. Like we're off-road vehicling, we're just drinking some tequila, we're hanging out, we're grilling. Everything was perfectly fine that day. That was like the last day. Everything was perfectly normal. And then the next morning I woke up and I had this debilitating lower back pain out of nowhere, to the point that I thought that someone had like broken a chair over my back as I was sleeping, like a WWE wrestler or something. And it hurt so bad, and I couldn't figure out if it was because I slept on this pull-out couch, if it was because we got so jostled around doing the off-road vehicles. I didn't know what it was. And it was to the point, I mean, it hurt so bad I couldn't tell if it was my hip, my lower back, or like my gut. My entire midsection hurt. It hurt all day, and we still had like a day and a half left of the trip, so we're doing like hikes and stuff, and I'm trying to have this brave face, but I'm just in agony this entire time, to the point that night, man, I remember, like, you talk about being spiritual. I could do a better job at praying, but I was having like an 8-hour conversation with God, like, just let me go to bed and get past this night, like sleep through this pain. This hurts so bad. And then the ride home, and the next day, like on a plane, you know, like a 6-hour ride where you can't move and you're just sitting there and your entire lower back, your entire midsection hurts. That's where it started, like 0 to 100. And so I tried everything. I went to a chiropractor. I did some dry needling, some cryotherapy, oxygen chamber. I did these like hip compression sleeves, saw a physical therapist, like legitimately, I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. And for 2 months, my just entire hips, my lower back, everything's out of alignment. Everything hurts. Amy had me go to the ER because when I got back from Sedona, and it had been a couple weeks, she was like, you look yellow to me. And like, if you're in so much pain, you should go. Maybe it's like your kidney or something. Maybe something's going on. I went to the ER. They drew my blood. They did a couple scans. They didn't find anything. So I just went on business as usual. And then so 2 months after Sedona, still just terrible constant pain. And I'm not like a complainer. So I'm trying to like keep up with everything, play with the kids, keep the business going, be Mr. like fun energy dad. But I'm in like, dude, I don't want to do anything. I just want to like crawl in a corner, honestly. And I had this crazy idea. I thought, because I'm asking Chat GPT everything. I mean, I'm going crazy. I'm like, what is this? Came out of nowhere. It's rocking my world. So I got this idea that maybe these nicotine pouches, I was doing like the Zen nicotine pouches because a lot of like fitness gurus say it helps with appetite suppression and there's cognitive benefits and all this stuff. And I was like, there's a chance this is contributing to it. So maybe that's what's going on. So I cut out the nicotine pouches, and the next day my lower back pain was dramatically better. It was like 70% better. And I was like, okay, there's something here. So I cut it out for another day. It was even a little bit better after that. So then I started, of course, asking Dr. Chat GPT. I'm like, okay, here's what's going on. Here's what my symptoms. I cut out the nicotine. Does this make sense? And it pretty much says, yeah, the nicotine has been keeping you in a constant state of like fight or flight, like sympathetic.
Okay.
So you're training, you're running, you're crushing life, and your body never has a chance to recover. So cutting out the nicotine is like a good thing. So I'm like, heck yeah, dude. Finally. Took me 2 months, but I cracked the code. I'm the man. All of a sudden, the lower back pain had gotten way better, and then everything became like migratory. So my shoulders became very inflamed and sore to the touch. And when I say sore to the touch, I mean like you could come up and be like, "Hey, how you doing, Joel? Put your hand on my shoulder." And I would like take a knee and probably wince and cry. Like it felt like a cattle prod had been put. It was like nerve pain. So again, the whole time I'm just asking Dr. Chat GPT, and it's saying, well, yeah, you're like your nervous system is recouping from all the nicotine. It's like rebounding from all that downtime. So I'm getting pains in my ribs. I'm getting pains in my shoulders. I have this dry cough for like 3 months. I can't say a sentence at night. It's extra bad at night. I can't talk to my family without like hacking up a lung. Terrible migraines. But like, here's the crazy part, Larry, is I could justify all of it. I had like dozens and dozens of symptoms. If my shoulders hurt, oh, I hit it too hard in the gym. I got to take it easy on the shoulders. If I got a migraine, oh, I'm stressed out from business. It's the nicotine thing. If I'm low on energy, oh, I've been like burning the candle at both ends. And I mean, this pain was zinging around my body. Like one day it's in my shoulders. 3 days later, it's in my rib cage. 1 week, it was in my testicles. Like my entire ball sack hurt really bad for like a week. And then it just went away. And it was this migratory thing for 4 months. After the initial 2 months of getting the back pain figured out, it's like zinging around my body. I'm having all these issues. But again, I'm trying to keep this brave face because I keep saying it's just my body rebounding from the nicotine. Everything says 3-4 months, you're back to normal. Finally, I see a functional medicine doctor because things are not getting better. My energy's zapped. I'm at like 20%. Back pain's kind of back. Shoulders, there's days I can't even put on deodorant because I can't even like lift my arm high enough to like put on deodorant. My body's just like falling apart. So I start seeing a functional medicine doctor, and she's telling me that she agrees with the nicotine thing. She says my body's pretty much stuck in the parasympathetic, and that also I have these gut issues going on. Like I have, she said that I had candida. She said that I probably had leaky gut, and I was probably somewhat insulin resistant. I'm like, listen, lady, you're talking to the freaking fasting king right now. I don't know. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but pretty much what she wanted me to do is cut sugar completely out of my diet, do like a carnivore diet, eat like perfectly clean. And it helped a little bit, like just enough to give you like a little bit of hope. So I'm eating like nothing but steak and eggs for weeks on end. I'm still feel like trash later, but compared to how I was feeling, a little bit better. And then, so it all came to a head 2 weeks ago when I woke up early. I went to the gym at like 4:30 in the morning. I had probably the worst leg day of my life. I'm just going through the motions, just like trying to have any sense of normalcy whatsoever. And I noticed like I have to almost take a breath walking from the leg press to the leg extension machine. Like I can't walk 20 steps without having to take a knee or sit down and like catch my breath. But I get through the workout, I come home, just business as usual. And I'm drinking my morning coffee as the girls are getting ready for school. And I notice the right side of my mouth goes numb. It's like completely numb. And I had gotten a drive-through coffee. So for my initial thought, again, just coping, I'm like, dude, did that lady accidentally drop like a little acid in my coffee this morning? Or like, what is going on? Why is my mouth numb? It feels like someone Novocaine me. It feels like I'm at the dentist. And I didn't want to worry my wife or anything. Again, I don't want to be like, every day something new is wrong. So I don't want to be the guy that every day is complaining about something new. So I just kind of like ate it. But I texted my neighbor because my wife was going into the office that day. I was going to be the only one at home. And all I knew was like, if your face starts going numb, usually stage 2 is you catch yourself slurring your words. And then stage 3 is you have a stroke. And stage 4 is like you die. So I texted my neighbor lady, who I wasn't really super close with, but I just texted her as Amy was getting the girls ready for school. And I go, hey, are you going to be home today? And she's like, yeah, why? What's up? I was like, it's probably nothing, but like 99% chance I won't need you, but there's like a 1% chance I might need you to take me to the hospital later. And she's like, what's going on? I was like, well, my mouth just went kind of numb. If I get any more like symptoms, I'm probably going to want you to take me in. And she's like, I'm on my way. I'm like, no, 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 don't. I got to take Kennedy to school. I got this stuff to do. Like, don't come over. She's like, no, no, I'm coming. And so I'm like, oh no, hopefully she won't come. Larry, we're getting our girls shipped in. We're getting the twins shipped into the mom mobile, and we're getting Kennedy into my truck to divide and conquer, take them to daycare and school. And all of a sudden, our neighbor lady comes, scene out of a movie, just barreling into the driveway like a mom on a mission, like a soccer mom on a mission. And I look over at Amy. Amy's like, what's going on? And she's like, get in. And I'm like, I guess Rebecca's taking me to the hospital. And Amy's like, what? I was like, yeah, my face is kind of numb. I guess Rebecca wants to take me to the hospital. So long story short, she's like, well, go to the hospital. What are you doing? Um, Rebecca, my neighbor lady, came. Yeah, she scooped me up. She took me to the ER. They ran some tests. It was like, was in there for 4 or 5 days. They thought it was either going to be an infection, they thought it was going to be an autoimmune disease, or cancer, but they kept saying we're really leaning towards infection, maybe autoimmune. We don't think it's cancer. Took a biopsy of this growth that came on with this growth, one of the growths on my body from this whole ordeal. And
You had a so you had a growth on your body?
yeah, I had a like a golf ball sized growth on my head.
On your
But
head?
again, I could justify it because 2 months earlier, we were in Florida. And when I was getting out of the golf cart, I kind of like hit my head on the golf cart. And nothing happened for weeks. Nothing grew. But then like this bump started forming. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had like 3 lumps on my head. But then I had a story for all of them. Dude, it's so crazy how I could just, yeah, I'm like, well, there's a bump there, but I think I did like kind of bump my head when I was doing this, or I bumped my head in Florida a couple months ago. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, they biopsied it and they're like, okay, well, we don't think it's an infection. It's probably autoimmune. And then the results just kept coming back negative, 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 negative until finally, like day 5, they walk in and they're like, yeah, buddy, we were wrong. It's cancer.
How do you even what do you say to that?
I mean, it rocked my world. That was like one of the few times during the whole process I was like by myself too. So I didn't like Amy wasn't there, which was honestly a good thing. I had time to kind of process it. I'll say there was like a 10 to 15 minute, probably like a 10-minute pity party, if you want to call it that, where it was like, I just remember vocally crying out loud and saying, what the F am I going to do now? Like, what am I going to do? How do I keep the train, like the gravy train moving with this on my plate now? It was very overwhelming, very overwhelming. Um, and then I gotta say, like, just watching community rally around me, people were like dropping things off, dropping dinner off for my family, bringing our kids gifts. And pretty soon after that, like 10, 15 minutes, it became clear to me, like, oh, I don't have to do everything. Like, I have people around me that are stepping up and like helping me out. And it's just been like a miracle. Just yeah, it's been crazy. But when I got the news initially, I mean it was surreal. I was almost kind of waiting for him to be like, just kidding, you know. But that didn't come. And then after the little pity party or whatever you want to call it, just the little reality sitting in, it was like, okay, well you can sit here and cry about it, or you could figure out what comes next. And it's funny because this is kind of corny, Larry, but I feel like you'll appreciate it. You like Jason Statham at all, like the film actor?
Of course.
So just like the day before I was admitted to the hospital, I was watching the world's dumbest movie. Well, one of them. It's Meg 2. It's about this giant shark. It's somewhere between like Jaws and like Sharknado. It's like in the middle of as far as dumb goes.
Right.
But he was talking to his daughter in the movie. His daughter broke into the submarine and they're getting chased by this giant shark and their submarine's dead at the bottom of the ocean. There's like 50 problems taking place. Overwhelming. And his daughter's freaking out. She's like 14. But he tells her, he goes, we face the problems one by one. We do what's in front of us and then we do the next thing. And that just stuck with me so hard because I just found out like my face went numb because I have a blood clot in my brain. That was like the first thing they tell me. Like day 3 of the hospital, oh yeah, your face went numb because you're super inflamed. You got this blood clot in your brain. Like, okay, that's crazy. Wasn't expecting that, but guess it explains some stuff. We'll deal with that. And then a couple days later, they said like the cancer thing. They said there's like this 9 millimeter growth in your stomach. It's like probably a tumor. Like, okay, we'll deal with that after the brain thing. And then they're like, well, this is testicular cancer and it's spread. So like it's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's like, okay. And all I could think of was a stupid, corny Jason Statham quote is like, we face the problems one by one. I don't gotta, as a macro, it was like, dude, this is overwhelming, man. Like, I got blood clots in my brain. I got growths in my stomach. I got cancers in my balls. I got bills to pay. I got like shit to do. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And just that simple, we face the problems one by one, changed everything for me. And it's like, okay, we're going to get on a blood thinner. That's going to help with the clot in the brain. That's going to thin things out. That'll go away. Eventually, it might take 3 or 6 months, but like the numbness in the face will go away. We're going to do the chemo. That's going to attack the cancer. If we got to have surgery, we'll do that. But just like chunking it down to that process from that stupid Jason Statham quote was like, it sounds so corny saying it out loud. It was huge for me. It's like, just, I don't have to worry about this whole entire mountain. What's the next step I got to take? So they're taking me to like test my lungs. They're taking me to get CT scans and MRIs and echoes and like just getting rushed, test, surgery, slice, put the port in his chest, dissect this, biopsy that. It's just like one thing after another. And all I kept thinking was like, one thing at a time. Just knock out that next thing. We don't got to think about everything else. Just think about that next thing. And fast forward, 2 weeks later, I'm back home. I'm with my family. I'm getting the treatment. I get to go to bed with my wife every night. I get to snuggle with my kids. I get to continue, making memories, and just, we're fresh in the battle. I still have 3 rounds of chemo to do at least, and maybe some surgeries, who knows, but the the initial shock of everything, I won't say is worn off, but that's subsided. Now it's just that one step at a time mindset.
When you say that this has spread to other places, like, have they given you an idea of like the extent of this?
Well, they biopsied it in my head. That's where they found it. So that bump that I was justifying that I got in Florida, whether I did or not, I still don't even know. But they cut that open. They were expecting to find an infection. They didn't. And so they cut what they pretty much got out of that lump on my head and divided into like 100 different pieces, and they apply these dyes, and these dyes essentially tell them what they're working with. And so, the dyes told them it's cancer. So it's at least, I know it's up in my head. I don't think it's penetrated my skull, at least as much as I know. I'll be honest, part of me, Larry, hasn't asked that many questions that I don't really necessarily want the answers to. But like, the reason I was having the shoulder pain and the rib cage pain, and even I don't even think it originated in my testicles either. I think it's spread there. They said that this was a germ cell cancer that starts off in your stomach. It's the same thing as testicular cancer. That's why, like, obviously our testicles start off in our stomach and then they drop, and usually like it'll go with them. But they're saying this cancer has been dormant in me since I was an embryo, and it usually activates in like your early 30s. But mine just stayed in my stomach. And then one winter circle trip, having the time of my life, on top of the world, it just, at 37 years old, decides, hey, I guess I'm going to come join the party and activate and just flip this guy's world upside down out of nowhere. So I think it started off, honestly, in my gut, and it spread like through my lymph nodes. And yeah, I know there's some in they found a little growth on my right nut. There's the lumps on my head. I don't know where all it's hiding, but the goal is to zap it all out here.
And the chemotherapy, that they're planning on that's going to probably wipe it out, right?
Yeah, I think they want to do the chemo and then a surgery, whether that surgery is like remove a testicle, get into my stomach if that little 9mm growth is still there. Again, I haven't asked those questions, probably because I'm still doing the one step at a time mindset deal. But yeah, I think the chemo is going to definitely, and I can tell you this, Larry, like, honestly, chemo's not fun. Like, I'm lethargic. I'm kind of low energy, but even comparing how I feel after round 1 of chemo to how I felt the last 6 months, I feel 3 times better than I have. So I can already tell that it's doing its job there.
Sorry. I don't think I knew the extent of this before we talked. But the fact that you're feeling much better, I was in that space for almost 10 years when I was in medical device sales. I sold products, everything from the diagnosis of cancer to the end. If you're feeling better, that's a great sign, especially this early on. And your foundation of health, your age, all of these really great things that you have, in your corner that quite frankly, a lot of people don't. Um, I'm guessing that, the health professionals have told you that this is, um, at least these odds are stacked in your favor if they've shared that with you.
Yeah, every time someone asks me my prognosis, I tell them 100%. And they're like, what? I'm like, honestly, I don't know what the doctor's prognosis would be. It's probably like 80 something, which is still, I'd take it. But if you're asking me, like, there's just no way this story ends here. So anytime someone asks me, I just tell them my prognosis is 100%.
It's the thing that, that I'm so curious about that I really want you to maybe share and explain and just some perspective. And I know that we're kind of like, this is super emotional and we're in the heat of all this. But let's just take the average guy out there, the average dad, the average husband. We already deal with like 10,000 problems like every day, right? And add to it if you're a business owner. Add to it, you're a dad of 3 little kids. In your case, the 3 little girls. Add to it, your wife is a stay-at-home mom, correct? Right?
She works from home, but no, she's got a
I
chef's
thought
job.
I thought she stays at home, but still, it's like I I think one of the reasons that I mean, obviously, you're a dear friend, so that's why I get emotional hearing this story. But there's this huge part of me that just screams perspective as I hear your story, and the stresses that the every guy deals with, the everyday stuff, right? And the everyday stressful stuff is minuscule, I'm sure at this point. Meaning, and let me actually phrase this 2 different ways. Minuscule in the fact that from a perspective aspect, it's like, man, like I thought I had stressors before, but this is a whole different world. But also the minuscule problems are also probably huge right now as well. It's like everyday little micro problems are suddenly huge problems because like I can't tackle them like I used to. So talk to me a little bit about what has this done as far as the everyday interaction with you and Amy, the everyday interaction with you and your kids, even the everyday interaction with your clients, the people that work with you, and things like that. Because I know for a fact, like you being in the fitness space and you being in the health space, and I remember the very first live video you did on this, and I watched it, and it was just like, I don't understand this. I'm supposed to be this guy. I'm supposed to be the health guru. I'm the one who's actually supposed to be in perfect health and helping other people get to good or decent or really great optimal health. So that obviously has to turn your mind into scrambled eggs as well. It's like maybe there's even like a battle with identity right now. But talk me through what's going on like I would say a daily basis. And I know, your thing is like I'm handling one step at a time, but what I mean more is like the daily interactions with the people that mean most to you.
Yeah, great question. So there's a saying I've heard for like 10 years. They say a sick man has a million problems. No, a healthy man has a million problems. A sick man has one problem, which pretty much means like if you're sick, your health is the only thing that matters. And I remember just laying in the hospital bed after I got that initial news, just thinking like, what a BS statement that is. It's like I still have all my old problems too. And now this massive new problem. It's not like all my other problems just go away. But yeah, like you said, I'm supposed to be building this fitness coaching company, this like health and fitness coaching offer. I mean, I don't know about you, Larry, but I don't want my fitness coach to be like a bald 150-pound guy that's battling cancer. Like, I want him to be a freaking physical specimen leader who embodies strength and courage, not like a meek, I feel bad for you. So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. Same thing with, your wife. Your wife doesn't want like someone she has to come tend like a fourth child. Like, you talk about connection and intimacy, and those things don't go away just because you're sick. You still need to, like, all your problems are still there. But then it's like you get dumped this giant new thing too. So I just remember like almost getting aggravated in my hospital bed of like, what a dumb statement. Whoever said that, like, I get it. In comparison, they're small, but they don't go away. You still have to deal with them. But no, man, I have to say, from a mindset, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Motivation here, but like legitimately glass half full from this whole ordeal is I remember we went on vacation, the Florida trip I talked about a couple months before I got the diagnosis. And I remember thinking like, man, this is a week away. I can't work on my business. I don't know how we're going to make money. I was like, it's not really a vacation. We got 3 young kids. We got to hop on an airplane and like, they're all going to want their iPads and candy. And then it's like, really, it's 5 days of like hardcore babysitting. And I was not looking forward to it at all. I was like dreading it. I just wanted to get back to like the mission. I wanted to get back to my routine. I wanted to get back to working on my empire, my body, my goals. Love spending time with my family, but this just sounded like miserable to me. It really did. If I'm being 100% transparent and honest, like I always hope to be on your podcast. Looking back at that now, like I was missing the whole beauty of life. Like, I'm so happy to be home with my kids. Like, in the 2 weeks I've been gone, they have new little aspects about their personality that weren't there when I left. Like, they're watching new shows on Netflix. They have new interests. Like, Kennedy wants to play basketball now. She's always played soccer. And it's like, dude, this is the gift. Building the business, like getting to single digit body fat. Yeah, they're all good, like goals to have, but it shouldn't be like the destination. I'll be happy when I get here and resent everyone else that gets in my way. Like, your family, the people around you that are like bringing dinner to your family when you're gone, are like donating to your GoFundMe and like supporting you when you're down. Like, these people, those are like what truly matters. Everything else is just kind of like a distraction. And just that like gift, what I think about is like how lucky I am, where most people, they're on their deathbed someday at like 70, 80 years old, and they're thinking, man, I wish I would have mended that relationship with that person. Man, I wish I would have traveled there, took my family there. Man, I wish I would have done that, had that experience. And then they're dead. Like, they don't get like a round 2. Where I got that at 37 years old, and then God like plugs me back into the game. And he's like, all right, man, like, you had your reflection time, get back out there. And I was like, I'm not going to sleep on the gratitude for my family, for my clients, for the people in my life, for the friends, family, and neighbors that have like stepped up to support me during this time. Like, I'll never forget that. And it really has been like such a blessing of like a midlife deathbed. Like, just a little like pause of the video game for to say, hey, dude, like, are your priorities in order? They're not. And they're not gonna be unless you have this massive shift. And so, like, dude, as weird as this sounds, again, I'm not trying to be like some type of way, but it was a necessary evil for me to get that diagnosis. It's been like just being home and snuggling my kids at night. It's like, I used to have to like tell Kennedy, I tell her a story before bed every night before she goes to bed. And it used to be like, I gotta go make up a story and go tell Kennedy till I can finally like relax and go to bed. And now it's like, I get to go tell my 6-year-old a story and she wants to hear it. And we get to like, she's like on the edge of her seat and just eating it up. Like, we went for donuts this morning, and it was something I'll never forget. It was just, we had a little extra time before school. We went and got a donut, talked. It's like, how many of these moments have I missed because I've been in this blur? But now I get like this second chance, dude. It really has been kind of like a blessing in the weirdest way.
And what would you want on top of everything what you just said, which by the way, I think was probably one of the most powerful reminders that I've heard in a long time. But if you could really give our listeners some perspective and some advice on, like, if you were to tie everything that you just said in a bow and you were to just say, hey, if you're listening to this and you're a dad who's busy, you're a dad who's distracted, you got this going on and that going on in marriage and like the kids and the sports and you got this and work and blah, 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 and you're moving fast and moving fast, get the next thing done. What do you really want to say to men out there?
Gratitude, to being grateful for the people in your life, all the blessings we have. I understand because I am, and I work with like type A hard chargers. We always want more. We want to dominate. We want to hit that next level. We're competitive. We want to get the most out of ourselves. Take some time to just appreciate what you've already got, the people in your lives, especially if you have young kids. Like, I can't tell you, being gone for 12 days and my kids visibly look different when I get back. Hit hit hard. Hit hard. Like, they're talking better. Our 3-year-olds are talking better. Like, they're stuttering and trying to form sentences when I leave, and they're like coherent toddlers when I get back. I was gone for 12 days. So life moves really, really fast. And yeah, if you're completely distracted on, I get it, man. Like, I'm not trying to build a business for ego. I want to provide for my family. I want to provide them a good life. I want us to like be set up for success. So I'm not saying like you're being selfish by focusing on your goals. Just don't miss the the trees for the forest, and know that you have people in your life that are very, very special. And on your deathbed, I mean, I can just speak from my own little experience. When I was on my bed being told I had cancer, and first they thought I was lymphoma, I didn't know what was happening. All I knew was my body was shutting down and I was like getting worse. I was pissing blood and they're shuttling me from room to room and just stuff's crazy. I wasn't thinking like, man, I really wish I would have got that third 2 Comma Club award. I was thinking like, am I gonna get to see my kids grow up? Like, was that the last that last conversation I had with that individual? Was that it? Is that how we're gonna leave things? And it was just yeah, to put a bow on it, man. Be grateful specifically for the people in your life, especially your family and the people that rally around your family when times get dark.
I love that. I really, really do. And can we talk specifically about marriage and about Amy, about you? I think obviously this is a dad show. We think a lot about our kids. We think a lot about our family. I think as like sort of like we sort of like just guys in general, sort of women, like we kind of like loop our spouse and our kids together into like this one bucket. But in actuality, they're kind of they are one bucket and they're also two separate buckets. And, you've given like some really fantastic examples of, how you're really embracing time with Kennedy. And I know you are with the other girls as well. And, but specifically, how are you viewing marriage maybe differently now too?
Amy is a freaking rock star. Had you asked me that 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, I've been in a real nasty habit, and I could probably dissect where it comes from if I wanted to, but a real nasty habit of like bitching about my wife, whether I think it's funny or like relatable or whatever. You're hanging out with the guys. Oh yeah, Amy did this. She's just playing on her phone, watching her reality shows, like just bitching and complaining. Dude, she's been such a freaking rock star. Like visiting me in the hospital, making sure I'm taken care of, handling our kids, dealing with the hospital, like getting all the bills and stuff in order. She's been like a single mom plus caretaker for like the last 3 weeks with like the world's biggest smile on her face. She hasn't complained about anything. She hasn't like shut down in any way, shape, or form. She has risen to a level that is, I didn't even know it was like possible for someone to write. Like, she's my hero right now. Um, and to be quite honest, it's been happening over like the 6 month period. So again, things got really bad towards the last couple of weeks. The week before I was admitted to the hospital, um, Amy took the girls to the zoo, and because her parents were going and her brothers and sisters and their kids were going, it was like a whole her side of the family thing. There was like 15 of them going. She's like, "Hey, you don't need to go if you don't want to go." And I'm like, "Thank God," because I don't know, I can't take 20 steps without having to like sit down and take a break. I'm gassed. I have nothing. And to think like an 8 hour trip to the zoo, I would have no idea how to do it. So she takes the girls to the zoo, and then the next day, the girls want to go to the park. And it's the same thing. I'm like, the zoo's one thing, but like the park's right down the street. Maybe if I just like try really hard, I can make it to the park bench and like the kids won't pester me to push them on the swing or anything. I'm like justifying. And Amy's like, "Don't worry about it. I got it. Like, you just rest." And I was like Wonder Woman in my head. I'm thinking, and she comes back. I can't remember if it was that night or the next day, but she's like, "Hey, I know we're working on our communication, and I know you're not feeling good. I have no problem like picking up the slack with the kids, but like I took them to the zoo by myself. I took them to the park by myself, and you really never like thanked me." I just broke down crying right away because I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I didn't thank you because I've been like thanking you in my head for 48 hours straight, thinking about how awesome you are and how effed I would be if you weren't picking up my slack." I was so embarrassed, Larry, that I didn't say like, "Dude, thank you so much. Thank you for like giving me like a chance to just rest and recoup," and like she's picking up all the slack. And in my head, dude, I'm thinking it. That's the problem. I'm like, dude, my wife is awesome. Like, I got off the hook with the zoo and she took the kids to the park by herself. She didn't complain about it once. Like, what a freaking beast. And I never vocalized it. And as soon as she brought that to my attention, dude, I just broke down and started crying. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I love you so much. Thank you so much. So ever since, I mean, just that little experience, and that was before the cancer diagnosis. Um, so ever since then, it was like, dude, get your shit together. You need to like, it's one thing to be grateful and like think about how awesome your wife is, but she needs to hear it sometimes. And dude, that shook me to my core. I was like, I was humiliated when I found out I'd never thanked her one time.
Man, thank you for sharing that. You know, it goes back to, I mean, dude, that story in and of itself is such a reminder of, that seen, heard, and safe, those needs, and it sounds like, that scene, for her in that moment was a really, really big deal. And I relate to that, man, so much. Just even as you're sharing that story, I'm sitting there thinking like, God bless, like how many times have I overlooked all the amazing stuff that Jessica does, and I just like tack it up as just, well, she just does that. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I think we could all like be better at just recognizing and just saying out loud what we're grateful for, what we appreciate, what we see them do, the things that they do, that like that unspoken work, the unspoken labor that they do, the things that quite frankly just a mom does and a wife does, that, and we just sort of, I don't want to say we miss it, but we don't even acknowledge it. And what in the story you just shared was, how powerful is it when we just simply acknowledge, just even if we think it, like that should be a cue that we say it. I was, right before you and I recorded today, I was on a coaching call with a brand new, one-on-one client. He literally just started with me. And, today was our first session. And he told me that he's always followed something for years as far as his intuition goes. And he just, he never lets it go. And that is, if I think about somebody, I'll text them, because it takes me 20 seconds to text them. And there might be a reason why they've come to my mind. And maybe I don't know what that reason is, but that's just my intuition to text them or do something. And I'll tell you, I think we could steal your story. And even like with what my client shared today is that if you see your wife do something, or if you think you're like, oh, wow, like, man, that was really nice of her, but we don't say it to them. Perhaps that's our nudge, that if when we have the thought of gratitude about our wives or whatever they do, or, that unspoken stuff that they do, even the simple stuff, like the very, very simple stuff, like taking the kids to the park or going to the grocery store, or maybe she picked up the kids from school when you couldn't, or something like that. But just simply saying that out loud, like that beautiful, beautiful gratitude, that beautiful appreciation, and not to keep it to ourselves and to share it. And I think your story of what you just shared really reminds us of the power in that.
Well, I hope so. I know it stuck with me. I mean, I can't tell you like how small I felt when she's like, "Could you say, like, acknowledge it?" And I could not believe. I went through my head. I'm like, dude, I had to have. I remember just being so like relieved and grateful and happy when she was going to take the burden of like both those things, and just being like giddy of like, oh my God, thank God, dude. I don't know how I was going to do that. Luckily, I don't have to worry about it now. Amy's the best. But like, it was all in my head. So I'm going like, I'm rewinding the tapes, and I'm like, dude, holy smoke, she's right. I like legitimately never even said anything to her.
You know, and yeah, it's like it. I think what you're sharing on today's show is I think one of the things if I could encourage everybody, like right now, like right this moment, if pause this particular interview, just pause it. Send a text to your wife, a very specific text, something that you appreciate about her, just anything, even if it's the simplest thing. Share what you appreciate, why you appreciate it, be specific. You have no idea how far that goes, like how far that really goes. So I encourage you guys who are listening to what Joel has to say today. Pause this, text your wife something very specific that you appreciate and why you appreciate it. It will absolutely go miles. Joel, I want to, as we wrap up this show, I want to shine the light on one thing here though. And that is, man, this is tough. And that is, I totally understand where you're coming from. It's like, it's like, who's going to want to take advice from a bald, 150-pound fitness guy, right? But I think that I'm the same way. Like when I'm like, well, I coach dudes on how to be better dads and husbands and men, right? But I'm not always that guy. Like I'm not. Like I make tons of mistakes. I slip up. Sometimes I can be the biggest imposter in the world. Sometimes I screw up so bad, and I'm like, why would anyone even want to take advice from me? Like, why would I even have one coaching client? And then I have to remind myself that I'm a human being. I'm a human being that's going to go through experiences. I'm a human being that may or may not have control over certain things that happen to me, but I do have knowledge, and I've got a lot of it when it comes to being a better man, husband, and father, just as you might be dealing with something that you have no control over right now, none, but you still are a guru, like the level of knowledge that you have when it comes to fitness is amazing to me. And the way that you've helped so many people lose weight and feel better about themselves, get to a healthier place. It isn't the image. It's the knowledge, and it's the personality, and it's the motivation, and it's Joel. It's not Joel's abs, right, that get people motivated. It's Joel. It's the knowledge. It's how you talk to people, how you support people, how you coach people. It's with your knowledge. And that's what I really want people to remember, that as they work with you when this show releases, and as they continue to work with you in the future, is your unsurpassed knowledge and your incredible level of detail to what people need when they're being coached by you, right? And that it has, like, I'll admit, like, I started working with you because I was trying to get ready for a bodybuilding show, and I was like, I want to look like Joel. But like, what I found out, like, right away is I was tapping into Joel's expertise, right? And not necessarily what he looked like, but how he was helping me. And you helped me tremendously, right? And that's what I want really people to understand. And as they decide, well, what fitness person do I want to work with? Work with someone who has a vast knowledge like you do. Work with someone who knows how to support a client like nobody's business like you do. And the other thing I'll say is this: I think this experience will make you a much more compassionate, empathetic, amazing coach than even you were before, which is that one's hard to rally because you are a good coach, like really, really good. But I think that this will even make you even better. But that's what I want people to remember. But I would love for you to just, as we wrap up here, just to comment on that, because I think that this part of it's important, because your identity and who you are isn't necessarily what you look like. It's who you are and how you support people.
Sure. And I appreciate that, Larry. No, everything you're saying, I really, that means a lot to me. I think you're 100% spot on. I will say, this is very new. I do have 100% intention of kicking this thing's ass and then using it to reach unforeseen heights, just based on having a second chance at life. And not only using it to like impact more people, but be appreciative of those people and those experiences and just not take anything for granted. So I don't think this is a death sentence on me. I feel like this is a chapter that honestly, maybe we're podcasting 5 years from now, looking back on saying, wow, who would have known that would have been the catalyst for what we're doing now? Who knows? I don't know. I am sure that this is a blessing because I can already feel it just with the immediate things with my family and people in my life. But yeah, you're spot on, man. The treasuring people, that definitely goes towards clients who, sign up to get a certain result, and they might need like a little extra TLC where, in the past, sometimes you get frustrated. You do coaching. Sometimes you're like, come on, man, bang it through your head. Just do the 48-hour fast. It's not that hard. Drink water, black coffee. Where I feel like this whole experience has allowed me to tap into more of a spot where I can be present with people and meet them where they're at. So I'm looking forward to the next chapter, whatever it looks like.
Well, I'm looking forward to see you kick this thing's ass, because that's who I know Joel Staley to be. So, and I know you're going to do it. Thank you for coming on and talking about this. When you scheduled this, I was completely floored. I was like, are you sure you want to do you even have the energy to do this? And I'm so glad that you said yes to it, because I think this message was much needed, especially this time of year. I want to make sure that everybody can find you. So I'm going to point people to the show notes, which is thedadedge.com/1390 for this show. In there, guys, here's what we're going to do. Okay. And Joel doesn't know this, but we're going to do this anyway. I want to invite every single person to go to that link, thedadedge.com/1390. In there, I'm going to have all of Joel's social media handles and his website and all the good stuff, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to work with you for weight loss and that kind of thing. But I'm going to put something else in there too. I'm going to put Joel's GoFundMe in those show notes as well. Whether you can give $5, $10, $100, $1,000, doesn't matter. But one thing that I know about our audience is that we are a group of dads, and we don't go at life alone, and we help a man who's down. And I want to encourage all of you. I don't care if you can give $1. Give whatever you can to help Joel, his 3 girls, his wife. Like, he's a business owner. Like, these things, like, we go out, business owners, we we eat what we kill. We don't have like a really nice base salary or anything like that. Like, we have to like trudge through these seasons and do our thing, you know? So please go over to thedadedge.com/1390 for this show. Please donate something, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. But let's all rally together and just blow the GoFundMe amount, the goal, just completely out of the water, and give this man the support he needs as he walks through this really, really hard crucible. So, man, dude, I love you. I know my audience loves you. And it's an honor to support you, man.
Larry, man, I can't even begin to express how much that does for me and my family, brother. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Of course. It's my pleasure, man. And by the way, we're for all my dudes out there, all my faith-based guys out there, please send Joel a message. You know, if you follow him on social media, like when you go to this website and you go follow him on Instagram or anywhere else, send him a prayer. If you're not a faith-based guy, send him some words of encouragement. So that would mean the world. Trust me when I say that. So, but Joel, like, dude, we're praying for you. We love you. And I do know you're going to kick this thing's ass, and I can't wait to see you in the winner's circle, just like where your hat says, but a very different winner's circle. And I truly think, man, that you're going to give other men who walk this road hope. I really do.
I hope so. That would be an honor for me.
Yeah. Well, I love you, brother.
I love you too, Larry. Thanks, man.
You bet. Gentlemen, thedadedge.com/1390. Go find that GoFundMe. I don't care if you can give $1 or if you can give 1,000, give something, right? This is how we live legendary, and we support living legendary. Take care.